Thanks for being here tonight. And thanks so much to Jim for choosing this out of what I can only imagine were a lot of collections. And thanks to everyone at the PSA, especially Brett Fletcher-Lauer, who's been both patient and persistent. And who, for those of you who haven't discovered his poetry yet, is a wonderful poet in his own right. I also want to thank Kathy Graber and David Allworth for being here, as well as my family. So the Badger chapbook is about a character who both is and is not a badger, depending on the context. And so I'll start with his beginnings. The gods describe building bodies like badgers. We pour the eyes in with a ladle like post holes half filled with mud water, tap them in if we have to, sprinkle hair onto bald, moist limbs and faces like boiled potatoes. Sometimes we confuse female for male and she is left looking like a pubescent billy goat. We take the liver and kidneys squatting like frogs from the brown dresser drawer, the flaps of skin pinned open with a system of strings. The pliers are for pulling ears from two white-rasped skull craters. We shake the body hard by the arms, penis and more pop out, teeth fill the mouth gap, and finally the green leakage of ordure falls from that button of twisted flesh. Badger speaks for himself. My parents blessed my birth with celibacy, an ordinary and anxious child. I have never been comfortable underground, though I was a member of the Communist Party for a time, initially to meet women as liberal with their bodies as with their politics. Eventually, I embraced Marxism, which is to say I had lingering doubts about my masculinity. Ordinariness has become something to pursue. In future years, I'll be kept from falling from high places by a sense of responsibility to loved ones that will fade into routine. I will become obese and a dedicated philanderer, my excess hiding, like God, the tool of my degradation. The revolution. The signal was a little girl's raised, gloved hand to her red hair, so it spread along the rye fields, through the alfalfa and dusty roads, to our homes like birds barking in the hollow of the hills. We were rebels, or when generals were killed, the generals. Sometimes the military were better rebels. We were the products of our own ideas, being rough is a game. Unseen loudspeakers drowned protest and canned laughter and waltzes. Men patched wounded women. Like pregnancy, it was an unfair competition. Captured were capturing, condemnation followed upon execution. What's lovely about war is its devotion to thoroughness and order. It keeps count. At the end, we got down and tasted the forest floor, holding the place where someone was before, stood in dead shoes, understanding the mathematics of it, the finite set of odd cardinality below the pirated nest of a titmouse and 8 pink-white eggs. Winter nights. Walking from the set into a field of snow, the moon eases from its blue blouse, half blinded by the hills. Eider shadows skate past the pawn boat overturned on shore. There's the fatty scent of pine like the smell of marrow. Things are blooming that shouldn't yet. Badger reaches up to his black and white face to touch something real but imagined, like some invented criminal pleasure, like making a virtue of a flaw. Reading after Jim, well, it's really relaxing, you know? He puts you at ease. I mean, I'm at ease. Oh man. Badger running off at the mouth. There are no Siamese twins in this town, no albinos, only soccer matches, bourbon, steaming horses, and the slick skirts of afterbirth hanging from hind ends. I don't care how depressed you are, I'm not coming to your party. Champagne and sodomy are overrated in that order. Smoking in the shower with a bacon sandwich and a boy named Daniel waiting on the sink, on the other hand, are supremely underrated. I admit I'm an unnecessarily handsome knockabout, nightly drunk to no apparent effect. But it's nice to be worried about. It's almost like being cared about. I'm missing a poem, but it turns out that I think that's probably a good thing. Badger gets caught in a trap, and this is after the trap. Title of the poem. I was here before man's wings folded into the body and became spongy lungs. I am the Christ of automotive exhaust systems. There are white nodules of stink hung at the back of my throat. I have an uncle made so stupid by the fireless fury of working class life that he rubs WD-40 into sore joints before bed. His wife gave birth to a cocaine baby that turned to cloud dust in her chapped hands. You see, I died a bit. I shipped my oars and laid flat on my back in the bottom of my rowboat. They found me plumb blue and tangled beneath the surface in the long white roots of water lilies and algae clad a scalp floating from my skull like a leaf of cabbage. Old age. 70, I'm up at 8, bathe, and trifle about until lunch. Afterward, I have a cup of champagne. It makes my mind race. I'm seeking help. Do I get breathless when I take exercise? I wouldn't know. I procrastinate by answering letters. My neighbors judge me now entirely on the cut of my coat. But we're all equally poor here, so the verdict is softly given. Beside my bed, the radio plays. I read Bleak House. My favorite room is the kitchen, though I've given up on eating. I've gotten to an age when I don't like to have food in my mouth, and heaven is the moment after constipation. You'll be happy to know, even now, my sex life could fill more than one wet holiday weekend. Still, passive as a toilet, I want my God back. Oh, this is the last poem, and it's the last poem in the collection as well. Algae from his children. The worst was his naked feet, his buttons of bone, his ape-skate. Corseted hydrophobe, politic and pond dog's body, bought sober cabbage stone. Feast of nail parings, busted lobster pot, room-eyed hogget, retired professor of androgyny. Premature evacuation, made cats laugh, fought walls. Red-bearded hyena's ghost, sky tree of stars, the growling icebergs, the braying orlocks at the wastewood coffin, inside, warm-gloved, softer skin of night, ear to ear, smiling or slit. Thanks.